looking at our plan last year, we deployed several hotspots, free hotspots, for the consumer market, and we were expecting quite good results in terms of traffic. So we are looking at the cells, trying to see what was the volume of traffic that those cells were developing, and unfortunately the result is not great. So I think each of us can interpret the message in a different way. On one side, being proud, I think, of what we are doing on the 2G, 3G, and now also on the 4G, but mostly on 3G, we could say that 3G is so good in Romania, and definitely there are figures on that we can share with all the other European markets. Could say that 3G is so good that people and our customers are not so used to look at the Wi-Fi hotspots like oases in the desert, because in Western Europe this is the situation, and if you look at the young people, this is even more evident. They don't use data connection at all. They are just, let me say, navigating like in a desert from one oasis to another one, and the oasis is the Wi-Fi hotspot. So they are used to communicate just through Wi-Fi. By the way, you know better than me that they are used to communicate through smartphones and not anymore through laptops. So the social networking is now through smartphones. Obviously, they are not interacting through Facebook with their friends with the laptop. They are interacting just through the smartphone. That's true. If you look at the 3G data traffic is increasing. And another surprising thing that I have seen in Romania is even 2G data traffic is increasing heavily. So let me say totally different behavior compared to what we could expect. Let me say also reading the world from the Mobile World Congress lens. So totally different situation. Usually we are looking at our industry through the lens of the devices. And by the way, I totally resonate with what Madalina was saying. I believe this is a mistake, but probably this is my angle of a broader reality. So there was not a real wow factor related to the devices. But then it means that we need to scrape the surface and to see what is vice versa beyond that. So I think that on one side the clear message of proximity between humans and devices is becoming even stronger and stronger, and all the figures that you have shown are just stating that. So all the emphasis that was put on NFC, machine-to-machine, mobile payments is a clear demonstration of that. By the way, I think on this class of services, until now we had some issues. So the players that were keeping most of the value chain, and clearly are not telco players in that value chain, were trying to keep out the service providers and the telco providers from the value chain. Now, step by step, they understand that the reality is a little bit different, and they need to agree as to come to the same table. And starting from that, I think we can really develop what was promised from the industry some year ago, and until now didn't totally happen. You were mentioning the partnership between Visa Europe and Samsung. There are also other partnerships. For example, Vodafone has a partnership with Visa Europe as well. So I think, but this is just an example of what is happening now after some years of mutual explorations and the attempt, mostly from credit cards, banks, to keep the service providers and the telco providers out of these services. So I'm really expecting that something is changing on this. The other point related to the proximity between humans and devices, I think is related to another promise about Internet of Things. that now is transforming into Internet of anything. That it's even, let me say, broader. Definitely, I think we are quite mature also on this point of view. That is also bringing then to other important areas and also quite delicate, like big data. Again, this is one promise from the industry, mostly from IT, then telco, that for years was mentioned and now is starting to happen. And last but not least, I think that I used to say that I am an IT guy because I have spent most of my life in IT, then in the network. Now there is a sort of cloudification of the network. That means that network is coming closer and closer to the information technology, and at the end of the day, I think it will be just one platform providing different services through similar operative systems and through the same hardware. So that's in a nutshell what I think is the message from the Mobile World Congress this year.